you, baby. Come on, girl. I feel so fat, can't hold myself back. High heel, dress by yourself. Gotta catch my breath. I'm slipping into the light, and I'm trying to keep from going under. Baby, hold on to put your higher. 'Cause I'm getting up with you, baby. Oh, I can love you. All I can see is you. You're staring me down. I know you feel it too. I'm slipping into the lava, and I'm trying to keep from going under. Baby, hold on to put you higher. 'Cause I'm getting up, burning up you, baby. Into the light, and I'm trying to keep from going under. Baby, hold on to put you higher. 'Cause I'm burning up you, baby. Burning up in the place tonight. You better sing it loud. Feel right. Get up and dance. Don't try and fight it. It was for real. That's all right. Top of the road. It's us as well. Keep on burning up. More. I got JB with me. Come on, boy. It's really forceful. I'm slipping into the light. I'm trying to keep from going under. Baby, hold on to temperature higher. Come on now. I'm burning up you, baby. Burning up you, baby. They don't understand. No. They say we're just playing games, that it isn't real, but it's what we feel. Oh yeah. And they say it doesn't make sense, that we're just wasting time, and they wonder why. Yeah, you know we got our own special language that only we can speak. Ooh, oh yeah, and no one else knows what it means. Oh no, they don't understand how we communicate. Oh, so many things that we do and say. They don't really get what it's all about. No, they never can understand. Oh, oh, can't explain. They don't know why this is serious.
Hi guys, how are you? Are you good? Are you excited? Are you happy to be here? Let's look like it, please. Smiles on, energy up, dancing around. Okay, so I'm over on this playlist on Apple Music that said it was the Get Up playlist. I don't know what that is. But the bottom song is something called Stingray All-Stars Orange 2020 Cheer Music. We're playing it right now.
Let's bring that old orange back.
What can I help with?
What?
Orange playlist loaded.
I wasn't even a cheerleader, but this kind of makes me want to do a backflip. I don't know what this is doing on my iTunes either. That's the energy we need, y'all. I like it. I feel like there might have been a lot of people who were cheerleaders that are now coaches, just as natural. It's just a natural segue. Brittany, I am making you co-host.
Hi guys. Okay, sounds good. And I know we're recording.
I am.
So,
Yay me. I remembered.
Awesome. Okay, you guys, so let's kick this thing off so that we have plenty of time for Q&A. Props to you for hopping on live. I dropped the link in the chat just in case you lost it in all the info that's been going on. This is the Google Doc that Micah started and everybody kind of is contributing to help you keep all your info in one spot. So you want to bookmark this because we know it's hard to remember all the things sometimes, but this gives you everything you need. So rather than, sorry, it tickled my throat, rather than spending too much time on recapping everything we've already done, we figured we would just point you in the direction of this Google Doc and then open it up to Q&A. One, if you needed any sort of clarification on what's expected of you every week. And then also like, you know, tips on how to help build and grow spouse accounts or develop emeralds. So we want to really, this 30-minute Q&A is meant to be for you. So we want to make sure that we're not spending the whole time going over like admin details or housekeeping details. I just want to point out, Ruth just added today the little chart on the top of this document, which will be very helpful for you because it organizes everything per day. So you may be in multiple groups or message pods and such. And so I thought this was really, I mean, we all did, thought this was a really brilliant way to keep organized. So if you're struggling with that, like, oh, what's due today? Or you're still getting used to it, make sure that you pay attention to this, print this out, put it on your planner, whatever works for you. Because there's a method to the madness. You know, there's a reason we're putting things in this order and we're requiring this kind of this level of accountability for you. So it all has a purpose. So while we're here, let's just review really quickly what's on the doc. So the chart is the most brilliant addition today. And then you've got the link to your weekly tracker, which everyone's gonna pop into the thread tomorrow. So if you haven't done that yet, it tells you in pink exactly how to make a copy of it. I know some of my girls had a question about that. And you guys should all have your Diamond workbook, but just in case you need a link to it, it's there. We also have the call to actions written out there. And then we've got some other content there. So this is really, really good because one, it's keeping all the info in one spot. And two, you guys, what I really would love for you to be thinking of in terms of like next month or month after, maybe taking some of your favorite things from this group and implementing them in your own Diamond Push group next month so you can help your coaches become Diamond. So again, yes, this is all for you, but it also should be like a learning opportunity to figure out how you want to pass that forward and duplicate it within your own team. So do you want me to, oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I could share my screen. Let me just do it really quick, just for those of you who maybe are on your phone or whatever. So this is the chart that, that Ruth made. And so it tells you every day what is required. So this part on the top, the small group thread, this is for any message pod that you're in that's smaller than the big one that we're in. So just, you know, that might be different for each sort of team. But the small group thread is just that, just whatever thread that you're in that's a little bit smaller. And then the big group thread is our main thread where we're posting the videos and the call to actions and the graphics and all that, right? She hyperlinked all the things. So this should help you stay organized. But let's stop there and let's ask if anyone has any questions or needs any clarity on like what we're asking for in the thread on a daily basis. Does anybody need help or just, you know, unmute or type it in the chat? And then we're going to move on to like just open Q&A. Does anybody need help with that? Are we good?
It's
so
okay
today,
to ask. Yeah, it's okay to ask if you have something. Don't look at it and don't be me in math class in high school where I didn't get it on day one and then 2 weeks later I'm really, really lost. So
yeah, and you know, like this is the first week. And so there's going to be some like acclimation. You're going to get used to things. You know, this is the first week. So we need to post our Power Hour tracker and other tracker for Friday. Yes. So you need to be posting. Let me just bring it on so I can show the visuals here. We want you to post in the thread every Friday this tracker, right? This is the weekly tracker. So you're going to recap your week. So you should be doing this probably today. Like take the time to do this today. Like you know, how is your personal development? How is your fitness, rate your nutrition, you know, all those things. And then you're going to drop it in the thread tomorrow. You'll screenshot it and you'll drop it in the thread tomorrow and tag your upline, right? In addition to this, we'd love for you to post whatever your equivalent is to like the daily tracker. Maybe it's the Success Club tracker, maybe your coach passed on something different. So you're doing two. There is some overlap here, but the difference is you're zooming out to look at your week and you're also staying accountable to your days. So we want you to post both, right? And again, we're not looking for perfection. You're not going to be called out if you have a 0. You know, that's not what it's about. It's just about developing those habits and creating that consistency and accountability. Today, what you're supposed to be putting in the thread is how many new coaches you sponsored onto your team. You hopefully saw Artina do the call out already. If the answer is 0, then the answer is 0 and you choose to celebrate something else, right? So Thursdays are about celebration, but we want to help you keep like at the front of your mind. The goal here is to grow your team and to expand your team. And so that's where we want to keep bringing the focus. Okay, any other questions that I missed or anybody want to unmute? Otherwise, we're going to move on to just open Q&A about just like building to diamond and beyond in this 4-week process. I don't think I'm missing in the chat. Are we good? Okay, I think we're good. Okay, so now we're going to move on to open Q&A. So this is anything, any tactical question that you have, any sort of strategy question that you have. If you're struggling with a certain part of your tracker, this would be the time to ask for advice or for some feedback. So let's dive in. If it's quiet, it'll be really awkward. So somebody just choose to pipe in.
I have a question.
Okay.
So one of the parts of the daily tracker that I guess I struggle on is to recognize achievement.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really have much of that.
So this is, and anybody can chime in, but this is what I tell my team. I think recognition is such a broad, there's so many things that you can recognize. You can recognize yourself, which might seem weird at first, but that's still a good thing. You can recognize the energy in your challenge group. You can recognize results of your customers. You can recognize finishing MBFA if that's what you're doing right now. You can recognize an advancement. You can recognize anything, right? Like tracking 6 days a week and it could be anything. It could be like, yes, I achieved diamond, or it could be anything else. So it's really just about creating that culture of recognition and finding the wins. And there's just so many areas that that you can recognize, and don't sort of, I don't want to say narrow, but I do want to say don't narrow yourself to just rank advancement, right? There's so many things outside of that.
Okay.
Oh yeah, good. Ruth also said teammates. So like teammates or success partners or your own coach, like anything that's really good, you know, like just think outside the box of just a rank advancement, which is wonderful, but there's a lot of time in between the rank advancement sometimes. And so you have to keep that, that culture going.
Crystal, think about how many people go to a job and work really hard, and it feels to them like no one really cares about them. They don't get any recognition whatsoever. So what we're also doing when we're recognizing is just sharing that we have a culture of dreaming big, working hard, and celebrating that, which is that little one piece right there is what doesn't happen at a lot of places of employment. That's what a lot of people are missing. No one tells them that they are doing a great job, that they're making a difference. And that's what we get to do. So it doesn't matter how small you might think it is. You're
right.
building
That's what
that
I was
social,
having trouble with.
You're just building social
small.
proof.
Okay.
Yeah. And showing people that are watching you thinking about joining your team, like, oh, like she's recognizing people for doing a great job. Like, I wish someone would do that for me. Well, they can if they join your team.
Okay.
And think it even about people who are in this push with you, or if you have a smaller push thread that are maybe really encouraging you, and you know, you can give them a shout out on social media too. Like, hey, this is one of my business partners. Like, she's been really encouraging me, or I love seeing how she grinds every day. Thank you for showing up with me. You know, then other people see it's a community, right? They're not just joining a team and doing this alone. They're joining a team and doing it together.
I think this is, Crystal, you brought up a really good thing, because I think this is also something that feels like a gap, especially when you're just starting your business or you're just starting to build your organization. A lot of coaches feel like the only thing that, and the only success they can attach to is the one that has their name directly attached to it. And I always encourage my team to just figure out, how can you celebrate the team as a whole? So all of us are attached to, all of you are attached to a larger organization, right? Someone that you would consider very successful, maybe, like for example, pumpkin spice. Maybe you connected somebody with, I don't know, 2 boxes of pumpkin spice yesterday and you're just getting started, but your team as a whole helped hundreds of people hit, like grab onto pumpkin spice to switch up their flavors and make fitness fun. So instead of you saying, hey guys, I'm so proud of the 2 people that I helped yesterday, which is amazing, you could also say, I'm so excited because our team helped hundreds of people hop onto a new flavor train and switch up their fitness. Like, don't be afraid to grab onto what the team is doing and celebrate that success too, if that feels better. So like elite team, like all that, even though you're not elite yet, you're a part of an elite team, so those are the things that are totally game for you to claim as well. Okay, other questions, you guys, or Q&A. It doesn't necessarily be questions, it could just be topics to brainstorm.
Raquel commented, and I didn't want her comment to get lost, that she would like advice, me too, on inviting women. We're both a little bit anxious about it.
Inviting in general or inviting women?
I'm not quite, I am having anxiety in general, but I'm not quite sure about Raquel.
Yeah, so for me, it's like I've been sharing, like, what I do on a daily basis, drinking my shake-o, like my type of food that I've been eating, and just I'm about to share like my transformational pictures today from when I first started MBF to like until this point. And I think that will help a lot of women relate to what I was going through. And then it's taking that step of reaching out and inviting them to join the next one. How do I do that without feeling worried or anxious about what they're going to think, or afraid for them to say no to me or think that I'm just crazy? It's taking that leap of faith, I guess, without worrying they're going to tell me no, they're going to think I'm crazy, they're going to think I'm just doing this for, whatever it may be. I that's what I'm just like, I'm not sure about how to do that.
Can I share some stuff? Because I had a really hard time inviting at the beginning because I was so afraid of rejection, and I tied so much of my success to the outcome. So first, tie your success and your sense of worth as a new coach or as a building coach, as a developing leader, to your commitment to the actions that it's going to take to eventually someday down the road, you're going to hit all of your goals. If you stay committed to the process, right? So we, as humans, we need to feel successful to stay consistent and to feel a sense of fulfillment. So instead of tying the gratification to the yes, tie it to the commitment to the invites you sent that day. Tie it to the commitment to the planted seeds that you put out in the world today to share this gift that can change their life if they're ready for it, right? So just that simple shift in like, what are you doing every day? Are you trying to find a yes, or are you trying to plant as many seeds as you can so that eventually you find the right people who need what you have? I think just that little thing will help you be brave, but also just get really clear on what you have to share. If your heart is leading with, I want to change a life, I want to make an impact, I want to get these solutions in the hands of the women that need it just like I did, you're gonna hear lots of no's. So expect it. You're gonna even get some snarky comments back. Expect it. And know that it's snarky because they're in a really bad place in life right now and they're struggling and they're having a bad day. And you just came into their message box at the time where they just wanted to spew some crap on you. And that is not on you. So we've got to remove that sense of like, if they say something mean, I suck, I'm terrible, I'm bad, I'm doing something wrong. If they'd say no, I'm bad. If they did it, we have such a funky correlation with that. And the book Go Giver helped me a ton overcome that, and Go for No. And as soon as my mindset flipped around that, I was like, let's go invite all the people. Let's go invite all the people, have all the conversations, talk to all the people. And that's how you have to build momentum. You have to get over that. So PD the crap through that roadblock until you're like, I don't have it anymore. Like I can talk to anyone about this. I can hear all the no's and I don't question my worth or my intent. And until you get to that place, like I would just harp on that with your PD until you tackle that. Does anyone else have any good PD to help overcome that?
I will share this. For those of you who don't know, my husband is a football coach. The majority of the year he is recruiting, which means the majority of the year he's being told no. The majority of his life is he's being told no. And every night he'll come home and make, however 50 calls to high school kids. And it's not like 50 are saying yes. And at no point does he go, I suck as a coach. No, they're just saying no to Butler football. It's not the right fit for them at this moment. At this particular moment, Butler football is not the right fit for them. So he does that for a living. And at no point is it's never personal. It's never personal. It's just it's not right for them at this moment. And he doesn't then on Monday go, well, everyone told me no on Monday. So on Tuesday he stops calling. No, he just goes right back to work and has 50 more high school kids. Can you imagine spending your evening talking to 16-year-old boys on the phone every night, and they're all telling, lots of them are telling you no. And it just is what it is. Sometimes it's financial, sometimes it's they don't want the talent, whatever it is. And he gets up and does it the next day and gets up and does it the next day. And that's how you build a championship program, because you're just willing to get on the phone every night and talk to high school boys and hear them tell you no. We're doing the same thing. We're doing the same thing. So this is not an anomaly. What we do is not like we're not the only people in the world who are doing this.
Thank you.
And I think what Micah said too is it's so easy if you're a people pleaser, which I think all of us on here are women. We look at everything as like, they're rejecting us. They're rejecting us. Oh my gosh. No, it's like if you go to a restaurant and the waitress says, do you want dessert? And you say no, you're not rejecting the waitress. You just don't want the dessert. And some people are not ready to get started with their health and fitness journey. And some aren't ready to build a business, and that's okay. But I guarantee you that if we pulled all of you here, you were probably invited to be a part of this. You were reached out to by your upline coach. I know my coaches on here, most of them were invited to be a part of this opportunity. So that's where you have to look at this, as this is such an incredible gift. And I would even encourage all of you to take time to write down all of the ways that the fitness has changed your life and how the business has changed your life, and get really confident in how has coaching changed your life. For me, it's helped me keep off the 40 pounds that I've lost. It's helped me, stay on track with overcoming anxiety. It's allowed me to be home with my kids when they had to do virtual learning, and I didn't have to work in the hospital as a nurse. Like, write down all the things that it has done for you. And when you can get grounded in that, that's when your confidence is going to explode, and you're going to want to shout it from the rooftops, and you're going to want to talk to every single nurse and every single mom of 3 and every single person that's just like you, that they need this in their life. And then you're not going to be afraid of the no's. You're going to embrace the no's. And when you get really skilled, for me, I embrace the objections, and I'm like, why do you think you don't have time? And I ask them, I'm like, wait, why do you think this won't work for you? It's easy. You can do it from home. You could do it in the car line. And that's like that next level of confidence, is when you start to get those no's, you're like, okay, how can I convert them? And that's how I am now. I'm like, okay, wait, this works for everyone. So why can't this work for you? So really, like what Micah said in all of the leaders, is dig into personal development. This business is mindset. It's mindset. It's belief. It's believing that you are capable to change a life, that you do have a story that can impact lives, that you do have the ability to help others build a business. And I even know I saw Chase over there. Chase was asking about inviting to coaching, because I know we're all encouraging you to invite to coaching. Is just think about you. Go back to how coaching has changed your life, how it's blessed you. Why did you start coaching? And find those people to invite. I was really afraid to invite to coaching, really, really afraid. And Ruth is on here. I said it on another call. It was Ruth that said, I invite like 100 a month. It was at one of the leaderships. And I'm like, okay, I can invite 3 a day, 3 days easy. And in the beginning I was scared, but then I thought, who's my niche market? Where are moms of 3s? Where are nurses? And those are the people I'm going to invite. And I got really specific because I was confident in those 2 categories for me: fit mamas, nurses, trainers. I could speak to them. So just hone in who you are, because you could be confident in that, and just find them, connect with them, share with them, love on them. And that will change everything for you.
Hey, real quick, can I add on, Allie, real quick? So in concerns to inviting, I don't think even some of us might be confident in, you know, running a business and doing things along those lines. So I think what I'm personally getting most overwhelmed with is either not understanding the business like process, I think, especially being only 3 weeks in. And so just having a little bit more understanding or structured, like instead of everything being all over the place, like that Google sheet with all the links. And I'm like, oh my gosh, speaking to my one Enneagram, but just a little bit more structure on like where are the coaching invites and where are like learning about the product Zoom calls and like where are those a little bit more structured things. So those can be put onto like our Google calendars and making sure we're a little bit more structured and how our planning is through the week, where if we invite someone on Tuesday, we know, okay, next Monday, we want them on that Zoom call. We have 4 days and making sure we're following up with them, all that kind of stuff.
So let me, so this is going to be different for everybody because there are 5 teams represented here, right? And so there's a lot of overlap, of course, but we all do things differently in terms of like how frequently we do coach info webinars or when we do this group. So my advice to you and what I do with my team is I have actually right here because I'm revising September, but to just have like Chase, you said you're a type 1, so I totally understand my husband is Enneagram 1. So having blank calendars 3 months in advance that you have in your planner and you can start jotting things down and you set time aside like once a week and you go into your Coach Online office and you see what's in the Coach Breaking News and you see what's coming up. You go into your upline's team page and you see what they have planned, if anything, right? It's not necessarily them that has to plan it. Maybe it's you that's planning it. But in terms of like easy flow, honestly, I don't think that exists. And it's because there's so many resources and it's such a busy network and it's such a busy season in the network. So I think we have to create that flow for ourselves, which Chase, you will probably be a huge asset to your team because that's how your brain is wired. But I would just suggest trying to market things out like a couple months in advance, or at least like pin things on a blank calendar. So if that makes you feel safe and secure and confident moving forward, you've got a plan of action. But things like, for me, I start a new challenge group the first Monday of every month. So starting to create those consistencies in your own business is where you're going to get that kind of predictability. So deciding like, when are your groups? When are your new coach trainings? Like that's, I don't know if anybody else has better advice than I do, but I just think like having a glance at, 3 months at a time and making sure that you're being diligent about going into the coach office and looking at what's coming up. They share things on National Wake Up Call too, but there's just a lot of info in this business. And so you have to figure out how to like bring it in. And the longer you're here, Chase, the more you'll understand the cycle of it all. It's like, okay, this season we do this, launches come up, it's very cyclical, but in the beginning it's like a, freaking water hose trying to get everything organized. So I totally get that, but just try to do a month at a time. And as far as like product info and all that stuff, honestly, especially as a newer leader, I think you just have a responsibility to show up for the things that are offered. When your team is hosting something on a launch that's coming up, you show up. Like when National Wake Up Call has the trainer on for whatever pro, you show up because that's where you're going to get all the little pieces of information. You're going to feel like you're plugged in versus like, what's going on? I don't remember when this is launching or when that is launching. So I know that's not like a direct answer and I totally get it, but I think for me, it's just having the blank calendars out and starting to pen and pencil in everything so that you can get organized. And then obviously leaning on your upline for whatever flow they already sort of have in place. Does anybody else have anything on that though? I think that's a good question, Chase, because that's legit truth. Yeah.
Chase, kudos to you. Great question. And kudos to you for being here as such a new coach. You really are in the thick of it right now, figuring everything out. And so these questions are what you should be asking. So awesome there. So what I recommend for you, since you do operate like that, is just take what you need for your power hour every day, right? Is you need to know kind of your invite conversation for a challenge group and for the business, right? So those are the 2 biggest things. What does that flow look like for you? So ask your upline coach what they have in regards to that to follow. Put that as a note in your phone. Maybe you already did that. But then in regards to you were talking about sneak peeks and webinars and things like that. I don't recommend my coaches waiting for these opportunities to invite to the business, right? Sneak peeks for me or webinars are totally follow-ups. These are for people who are like, I am interested, but not right now. Like, I have a lot going on. I want to, but X, Y, and Z. I don't have the money right now. So I use sneak peeks solely for that purpose for myself. And honestly, like, my recruitment comes from one-on-one conversations where I'm sending a webinar back and forth. And to me, it's so simple. And so I think as soon as you figure out your system with that and ask your upline for maybe a team recorded webinar that you have and use that, and it's just going to simplify it. And honestly, my conversations are like very, very similar all over again in regards to the information. So it's very normal for it to feel like a fire hose right now. It will get easier, but kind of ask yourself too, okay, how can I simplify? Not kind of get overwhelmed with looking at everything. I never look 3 days down the road. I'm like a day of person. Yesterday I was like, oh shit, pumpkin spice launch, here we go. Better get this shit out to the team. Anyways, it wasn't quite, well, yeah, it was pretty bad. But realized like it's okay, like to release some of that control, and you're gonna be okay, I promise.
Can we all just give it up for Ruth's nails right now? Like, I'm so mesmerized by your nails right now that I don't even understand how you're doing that with babies.
Oh, well, they're glue on. They were $8 at CVS. One is about to come off, so you'll probably see my glue stick come out.
It's amazing. Just something that came to my mind when I'm listening to these, because the conversation is so great and so valid and will be ongoing, I think, as you grow your business. So the questions that you have now as a new coach will also be the same questions you kind of have later, just at a little different level. Sometimes what coaches get caught up in, we all get caught up in this, is looking for the right way. Like there's only one way. I think that's a block for a lot of us. We're looking for, because I know I've been there too, like, just tell me the thing so I can do the thing. Well, the thing is however it works for you. And the way the thing works for you right now might be different than how it works in a couple months. And I think this is a particularly female kind of challenge or mindset, that we're looking for, that we want it to be right. We want to know what the right way is. Well, there's 460, who knows how many now, since it's growing every day, coaches in this network. There are 460,000 ways to build this business. So if you're looking for the one right way, you're not going to find it. Don't get caught up in that. Find the way that works for you right now, and know that 3 months from now that could change, and 3 months from now that can change. And that's what makes this business so cool, is that it's a constant business of evolution. Just take out of your mind that there's one right way. There's 460,000 ways to build. You'll find the way that works for you right now. As long as you give yourself permission to do that, you'll find so much more joy and simplicity and sustainability in this business.
So awesome.
Shiloh had a question. Did you see that?
Yeah. Do you want to go for it?
Sure. So this is a great question. So she talked about how she struggles with balance. First of all, there's no such thing ever, so drop it. She said, I feel like I go balls to the wall for a month and see lots of growth, but it's not a pace that she can keep up with kids and family life. So then she feels like she's failing to move forward when she can't put that much time in. So here's my advice for that. There will always be seasons of like hustle and grind and leaning in and going balls to the wall, but you have to create a baseline of non-negotiables when life gets crazy and when you have to put more time into momhood or whatever. You at least have to raise your floor if you ever want to raise your ceiling. Trent Shelton talks about that. We can't go balls to the wall and then drop all the way down. And we can't go balls to the wall and then drop back to bare minimum. That's not growing your business. So you have to personally create those non-negotiables. No matter what, I'm hitting at least this number. I'm doing this many invites every day. I'm spending this much time in my PD. If I can get more than that, awesome. I'm going to grow that much faster. We're going to have that much more growth within our team. So I think it's just identifying, and that's the beauty of the business, you guys. It's different for everyone. So what does that look like for you right now in the season of life that you're in? But if you want to see growth over time, you've got to identify those. You can't do the up and down, in and out, back and forth. That is like recipe for disaster every single time. The start stop crap that so many people do. And maybe that's why you're in this thread. Maybe like just create a non-negotiable. I can maintain this. And then in certain periods, I'm going to go and I'm going to put more time in and I'm going to hustle and grind and create even more momentum so that then when I do drop back down to my non-negotiables, we're still climbing because we still have momentum behind us. So that's just kind of how the business works. So maybe get off the call and identify what that looks like for you. No matter what, every single day, what are you willing and what are you committed to putting into your business? And just personally, do not let yourself go to bed until it's done. You have to put the CEO cap on when it comes to that stuff if you want to really create a substantial business.
And I love what goes along with what you said, Micah, is I remember Brittany said this on one of the calls, is that you can miss one, but you can't miss two. You can miss one day, but you can't miss two. Because this business is a compound effect. It is showing up daily with the consistent actions, with the consistent behaviors. I had a coach who hit diamond last month, and I noticed that she had gone silent. And I'm like, where is she? Well, she decided to take like a 4-week vacation. Well, she messaged me and she says, I didn't hit Success Club in August. And I said, she's like, I don't know why. And I'm like, and her diamond dropped. And I was like, well, did you do work while you were like gone for 4 weeks? Because 4 weeks is a longer than normal vacation, in my opinion. And she goes, no, I didn't do anything. And I was like, you worked your booty off to get to diamond. Then you stopped everything for 4 weeks. And you're asking why you dropped diamond and why you missed Success Club. You can't pick and choose when this is convenient for you. If you want to become a diamond team, if you want to build this amazing community, amazing business, you got to put in the work. It's just like brushing your teeth every day. You got to do the work, whether that's 3 invites a day or 10 invites a day, whatever it is. Just like Micah said, you got to have your baseline number. I know for me, when the kids were home for 5 months with COVID, I was like, I can't do this amount that I was doing when the kids were in school, but I can do this. And maybe I'm going to wake up at 4 a.m. and do it from 4 to 6 so that when they're up, I have the IPAs, the income producing behaviors done first versus do them during the day when they're at school. So you got to figure out your non-negotiable. And I think Brittany said it in the comments, you do not go to bed until those non-negotiables are done. Because that's what's going to help you become diamond and beyond after these, next 4 weeks.
Okay, you guys, we're out of time. So I think the call to action from today is what Micah said, like identifying your X, Y, and Z, your baseline minimum of what gets done no matter what, every single day, no matter what child is throwing up. Sorry, no matter what is going on in your house. My ceiling is gone. I have an AC leaking. My ceiling has been gone for a month. Like whatever chaos is happening, because it's going to happen and it's probably going to happen even more. What's X, Y, and Z that you get done before your head goes to bed? And if your head lays down, I hope your guilty conscience kicks in. You're like, shoot, I didn't follow through, because that integrity is what builds a dynamite leader. And that's someone that follows through is someone who builds an unstoppable organization. So today we need to know what you're celebrating, how many coaches you brought on in your organization, and we want to know your X, Y, and Z. Tomorrow we're going to share those 2 trackers. Okay, so lean in, do your week 1 checklist, right? So like these are all the things. The guide is there. The track is laid out. It's just up to us to all decide to show up for the work. And put your satisfaction in your work ethic and the activities that you follow through with. Okay, guys, thanks for hopping on. We'll see you next week, and we'll see you in the thread. Bye, everybody.